Hello, listeners. Hello, video viewers. Welcome back to the podcast. This episode is called 2022 News Quiz with Stephen from SEND7 Podcast. And that should explain what's going on here. I think you probably all know Stephen already. He's been on my podcast a couple of times this year. But just in case you don't know, Stephen runs a podcast for learners of English in which he sums up news stories from around the world in plain English. It's called Simple English News Daily. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. So Stephen keeps up with the news because he does a podcast about it. And he's prepared a news quiz for me. Okay? A quiz about news stories, stuff that happened this year, 2022. It's international news. And we're going to start in just a second. I invite you, listeners, viewers, to try to answer the questions too. Let's see if you can beat me. Which won't be difficult because I haven't been keeping up with the news very well this year. And even now I'm thinking, what? It's the end of 22 already? Blooming heck, where did that go? We don't have a TV at home. I don't read a regular newspaper. I don't know what's going on, Stephen.
I'm sure that's not true, Luke.
I do try. I try to keep up with what's going on, but a lot of the time I do feel like I'm so busy with daily life that I don't get the chance to keep up, and I generally feel a bit overwhelmed most of the time. I read some news summaries from certain websites, like, for example, theweek.co.uk.
Love that.
I've subscribed to their newsletter, so I kind of like read the little summaries from there. You know, there's what I pick up on Twitter, what my parents talk about, what my friends talk about. But yeah, I can't believe that 2022 is already finished. Where did it go? I don't know. But anyway, let's do this quiz. Okay, let's see how much I don't know about what happened in the world in 2022. And I'm now going to hand over to the quizmaster, Stephen. And here we go. Stephen, it's over to you.
Oh, thank you again for having me, Luke. It's great to be back on. I'm glad that you've recovered from your flu.
Oh, yeah, I had flu, everybody. I don't know if you can tell. You could.
Nah, you sound fine.
Everyone's probably thinking, what happened to you? You do look different, Luke. What happened? Well, I shaved off my beard in a desperate attempt to get the flu out of my system. I don't want hair on my face when I feel this ill. So I shaved and everything like that. But yeah, still recovering. It was proper flu. It wasn't just like that flu. Oh, I've got a bit of flu. No, it was the proper flu where you can't move and you think you're going to die. It was horrible. So yeah, this is the first time I've actually been out of the house properly in something like 10 days. So I'm rubbing my eyes and blinking into the light. But feeling much better.
Well,
how are you anyway?
No, you look great. I'm actually feeling quite fat from eating lots of Christmas chocolates and biscuits already. Even though we're recording this slightly before Christmas, but I've been to
It's the 19th of December that we're recording this. Yeah, it's pre-Christmas and you're already feeling fat.
Yes, already. Yeah, but, been to a work Christmas party, and yesterday went to watch Argentina win the World Cup.
Wow.
There you go. There's no question on that. Ate some more chocolates. So yeah, I'm feeling fat already. But
you look fine.
Thank you.
You look fine. Congrats to Argentina, by the way. Commiserations to France. What an incredible game it was.
What a game! Wow. Yeah.
It was just a roller coaster, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. Wow. My heart was beating so fast. I wasn't invested in the winner at all, but I was on the edge of my seat for nearly 3 hours.
Obviously, I was supporting France, of course, and so very much invested in the winner. And it went from like, oh my God, this is the worst. France are totally terrible, to in something like the last 20 minutes of the game to, oh, this is incredible. France are amazing. I can't believe they're going to do it. And then, so it went this way, it went that way. And in the end, even though France didn't win, I felt like it wasn't quite as bad as them losing 2-0.
Yeah.
Which looked like, that's what was going to happen. It looked like they were going to just get defeated easily by Argentina. They did stage a pretty solid comeback.
They did.
But
it made it more exciting,
enough.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But Argentina deserved it. They really did.
Yeah, congratulations, guys.
Campeones del mundo.
People.
Yeah, so the quiz that I've got here, it's got 20 questions, all about international news, world news, could be from anywhere in the world. And it goes more or less in chronological order from the beginning of the year up until now. And I'm sure you're going to do better than you think, Luke, because it's all stuff that's been pretty big, I think. And I would encourage listeners, if you are at home, if you're sitting down, then maybe just you could write down the answers on a piece of paper or something before I say the answers. I'll just say the answers. I'll give you a minute or so, and then I'll just say the answer, and then you can record.
I feel like
go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like I should maybe sit here with my hands up like this to show to everyone I am not Googling anything. Right, my phone. I'm putting my phone up there on the windowsill. Yeah. Right, and I promise I'm not going to be. If I do type, you'll see the screen moving like this because I'm using my laptop's inbuilt camera. So I don't know.
You're not cheating.
Should I sit with my hands on my head like this the entire quiz? That would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But believe me, folks, I've got a pen. I've got paper as well, just in case I need to desperately write some notes down. But
yes,
there you go.
Well, listeners, I hope you're taking it as seriously as Luke is, and that you're not going to cheat either.
My reputation is on the line here. I don't want people thinking I'm a complete idiot. I mean, maybe they already do, but I don't want that to be proven today in the podcast.
There we go. Well, if nobody listens to the next podcast, then you'll know why. But anyway.
Yeah. Luke doesn't know about events. I'm done with this podcast.
Okay, shall we start?
Yes.
Let's go. Okay, well, this is the World News Quiz of 2022. Here we go. So we're going to start in January. Question 1. In January, believe it or not, Luke, we were actually still in the middle of this incredible pandemic called the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. And in January, the world was still reporting more than 3 million cases of COVID-19 every day. But which letter of the Greek alphabet was given to the very contagious variant which made the cases so high in January and has continued to be the main variant throughout 2022. Okay, don't say anything yet, Luke. I was thinking that maybe after I say every question, I should have said this before, maybe after I say a question, if you know the answer, you could just hold it back for a minute so that the listeners could... Because I could see you were about to jump out there, because I think you know this one. You nod your head, you think you know this one. So
I think I do.
But shall I just say it another way so that the listeners can have another go? So there's the Greek alphabet has been giving letters to different variants of COVID-19, and the one which really exploded at the end of 2021 and has been the main variant throughout all of 2022 and really peaked in January. Which letter was given to that? It's got a name. So
so I think we're talking about the Omicron variant, but now this is where my Greek comes into play. I'm wondering, what is it Omega? Is that the... It's not,
Luke,
is it?
Luke, I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you there. Because you got it right already. It is Omicron. That's what it is.
What? But is that the name of the letter in the Greek alphabet?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, it's really?
Yeah.
So it's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Omicron, D,
Yeah, essentially, something like that. Omega is actually a different letter, even though it sounds like they both start with O for us. They are slightly different, I believe. I don't speak Greek, and I don't know the Greek alphabet, but I believe that's true. But Omicron.
So
Omicron is the right answer.
Omicron was the variant that you were looking for.
We should have got a sound effect for when you got the answer right. Woo! There we go. Oh, that sounds really good. There you go.
I have to keep doing that.
1 out of 1. I suppose for the listeners' sake, maybe we should give them a specific time frame or something. But I'm going to imagine, listeners, that you all got that one right as well. It seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it, that coronavirus was completely dominating the world?
Yeah, it does. I mean, except having that flu has just totally disorientated all sense of time and space for me. So I don't know where I am or what's going on. It's 2022. I thought it was like I was there in bed recovering, going, oh, it's all right. It's 2015. Yeah. Everything's okay in the world. There's no Brexit, no Donald Trump, no no COVID, none of that, no war in Iraq, in anywhere. But oh no, God, it's 2022, isn't it? Oh God, yeah. Anyway,
it's okay.
Roll on 2023.
The lockdowns are over, including the one that you've just had for the last 2 weeks. So you can go and celebrate Argentina winning the World Cup and Christmas and things over the next few days. Once you feel better.
I don't think I'll be celebrating Argentina winning the World Cup. Not here in Paris, in the capital of France. They'd hit me in the head with a baguette if I did that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it wouldn't be too fun to be an Argentinian in Paris right now. Okay, well, you brought us on to question 2 there in February. Question 2, as you said, very, very sad events. So Russia invaded Ukraine on February the 24th, and this created the biggest refugee crisis by numbers of people that the world has seen in the 21st century, and the biggest refugee crisis in Europe since World War II. Question number 2 is, which country received the most Ukrainian refugees? Hold your answer there. We'll allow the listeners to have a good little think.
What do you think, listeners? Which country received the most of the Ukrainian refugees? Obviously, it's going to be a bordering country, a neighbouring country. I'm going to go with Poland.
Is that your final answer, Luke?
That is my final. I could have gone Romania. I could have gone one of the other states up there, but no, Poland is the one I'm going for, I reckon. I've got lots of listeners in Poland too.
Okay, well, they are going to be very happy.
Hello Polish people. Hello.
Dobry dan.
Don't say hello to you enough. Hello Polish people. Yay. Yeah. Anyway,
you are absolutely right. It is Poland. Well done. 2 out of 2 for Luke. There we go. 100%.
Oh my God.
So far. Well done.
Yay.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. Well done. Hopefully all listeners have got 2 out of 2 as well so far. But come on, you've got to get one wrong so that people can be beating you. And
Don't worry, I will.
Okay, good. Well, let's see if you can get this one wrong. Number 3. This one's in March already. In March, the Oscars caused one of the most widely watched video clips this year. But it wasn't related to any film or any award being given. All the attention was on an actor who slapped a comedian. You listeners can have half a point each for getting either the famous American actor who was the slapper, or the famous American comedian who is the slappee. So you can have half a point for either of them, and a full point if you can get both of them. So, should we?
Right. We understand. I think we've got it. So, who was the slapper? Who was the slappee? A total of 1 point if you get the 2 names. Well, the slapper was, of course, Will Smith.
That's right. Absolutely right.
And the slappee was Chris Rock.
Yeah, well done. Well done, Luke.
And
excellent.
Yeah, what a terrible moment that was in culture.
Terrible but amazing. Wow. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, a bizarre moment, and I can't believe he got away with it and got celebrated for it. I mean, he kind of got he was given an Oscar at the end of the night, and they're all cheering and clapping him by the end of the night, and he'd just gone on stage and assaulted someone.
Absolutely. Yeah, he did. In fact, I think as soon as he got up on stage to accept his award, he apologised overall in general. I probably shouldn't have done that. But he didn't apologise to Chris Rock, the guy he'd actually just slapped.
No, that was a crime that he committed there. Chris Rock could have pressed charges. Yeah. It's a crazy world.
Dangerous for people like you. comedians who have to get up and make fun of people on stage all the time.
I know. It's not okay to go and slap comedians, everybody, all right? Just because Will Smith did it doesn't mean everyone else can do it.
No. Has it made you nervous?
Not really.
No.
I generally don't make...
Yeah, I was going to say, are you one of these comedians who makes fun of people in the crowd?
No, I'm not really, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes if the moment arises and you have to do it. But yeah, I suppose it's a bit of a grey area, the sort of morality and ethics of that. But I mean, generally there's an unspoken agreement that when a comedian is doing their thing on stage, that there might be a bit of interaction with the audience, and that sometimes means sort of making jokes about people, but everyone understands that it's all part of a comedy show and it shouldn't be taken too seriously. And
Will Smith didn't get that message.
Neither did his wife, apparently. No. I don't know what's going on there. No. Something going on between him and his wife. That meant it's like, I mean, at the beginning of the clip, you know, Chris Rock tells the joke. Yeah. And Will Smith appeared to be laughing. He glanced over at his wife, and she gave him the evil eye, and he instantly was like, "Oh God!" And then he overreacted. Yeah. I can't believe he stormed down there and slapped him. Yeah. Still can't believe that happened.
He probably can't either. Nobody can. But,
anyway,
crazy. Anyway, question number 4. You're on 3 out of 3 so far, Luke. Well done. Question number 4. We are now in April and we are moving to France. In April, President Emmanuel Macron won a second term as the President of France. In the second round, his opponent was the same person as in 2017. And this time, she won 41% of votes, which is considered very high for someone who is generally seen as a far-right candidate. Who is she? So, I know you do live in France, Luke, so you might have a bit of an advantage there. But
yeah. So we're talking about, of course, Marine Le Pen. Marine the Pen.
Yes.
She's not Marine a pen, listeners, but that's just her name. But yeah, Marine Le Pen.
That is absolutely like, woo! Well done, Luke.
I got it right.
Well done.
We dodged a bullet there, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you would have been in trouble if you didn't get that one. Yeah. What do you think, Luke? Is there the right on a far right surge in France at the moment, or was that just a fluke accident?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, it's hard to argue with 41%, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
I don't think the I don't know how to describe this. I don't think that is going away in a hurry. There's clearly a lot of people who identify with the things that she's saying or the things she represents.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Stephen, really. I mean, personally, I hope not, obviously, but God knows. I don't know. I'm trying to stay positive about the future and about the state of the world, which can be a little difficult in the face of, global events, but you've got to do what you can.
Yeah.
Some people listening to this are like, yeah, well, Marine Le Pen, she's fantastic. Yeah. I'm aware. I've got a broad variety of different people who listen to my podcast.
Broad church.
And at this point, that some people are going, this is not the place for politics. especially if I talk about the politics of other countries. Yeah. People often get a bit sort of upset about that. They're fine if I talk about the UK. I can say anything I want and criticize the UK as much as I like. They love that. Popcorn. Yum, yum, yum. Please keep doing that, Luke. But if I start talking about other countries, then people tend to get a bit upset about that.
So people are always going to get upset about something, really, aren't they? So
they certainly are.
I don't think we can walk on eggshells all our lives, can we?
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, I suppose not. Yeah, I should take a leaf out of your book, Stephen, and just not worry about it too much.
To a certain extent, yeah. But I mean, yeah. I suppose people will always say you should know more about what you're talking about before you say it or something. But
yeah, but basically, if people disagree with you, then they're going to find also any argument they can to express that.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, personally, it's tricky for me because I think these issues are all really important, and obviously it's important to talk about them. But I personally feel comfortable usually talking about like bears and ninjas and things, and so I don't necessarily feel placed to. I don't always feel like I have the statesman-like ability to talk about world events in that very, it's a fine line that you have to walk.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't want to stick your foot in it.
It's okay.
As it were.
I don't come on your podcast every day, so you can talk about ninjas and most of the time.
Even some people are like, you should not talk about ninjas and bears, Luke. You should be talking about the important things in the world. Stop getting distracted by trivial things. Like, okay, I'm just trying to do a podcast for learners of English with some comedy in it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm sure anybody who's really who doesn't like difficult topics probably saw that this was a world news quiz and went, "Oh no, I don't want to have it. Oh, no, don't want to talk. Don't want to listen to that." So there we go. Yeah. They're not listening. You can say all the controversial things you want. Question number 5.
Question 5.
In May, who won the Eurovision Song Contest?
Oh gosh. I don't really. I've never watched Eurovision. Never. I mean, it's not really my cup of tea. I always find the songs to be laughably bad, and it's all a bit of a joke, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's part of the fun.
Yeah, I know. I should probably get into the fun side of that, but I can't help kind of going, oh God, I don't like the, Anyway, who won? Well, it wasn't the UK because we never win. Normally we come last, don't we?
I don't know. The UK actually came second this year, which was an unbelievable piece of magic. Yeah, it's normally always nil point, but this year, the UK actually came second.
So who came first? Oh dear. So I'm going to get this one wrong. And also there's like loads of countries in the Eurovision Song Contest who are like nowhere near Europe. It's Eurovision. I guess it's Eurovision. So if you can see Europe like on a map, then you're able to take part.
Australia definitely cannot see Europe.
Well, they can see it on a map. They can see pictures of it on the internet. So it's like, can you see Europe? Do you know what Europe looks like? Yes, we do. Yeah. You're in. It's the Eurovision Song Contest. Yeah. Have you got a song? Yes. Right. I don't know. I've no idea. I'm going to say Papua New Guinea.
Is that your final answer? Is it Papua New Guinea?
Yeah. That's my final answer.
You know what? Surprisingly, Luke, you're actually wrong. It's not Papua New Guinea. Although that was
Papua Old Guinea.
Was a great idea. It could have been Papua New Guinea because there are lots of countries which are not in Europe that are in the Eurovision Song Contest, but actually it wasn't Papua New Guinea. It was. I tell you what, I'll give you a little clue. Maybe I can give you it for half a point if you get it now. Yeah, after your guess of Papua New Guinea. After this clue, the result was probably a bit politically motivated by the rest of Europe, by the whole of Europe.
Oh, all right. So it's Ukraine.
Yes, it was Ukraine. Exactly. Yeah, that's right. There you go. You scrounged half point there, Luke. Well done.
I sort of understand that because they're like, oh God, they're getting completely bombed and they've been invaded by one of their neighbours, and like large sections of the population have been displaced, and either they've left their homes or they've been killed or their loved ones have been killed. What can we do? Oh, let's give them the Eurovision Song Contest. That'll make them feel better. Yeah, totally. And in fact, in many countries, they could have just voted themselves. There's 8 million refugees from Ukraine across Europe now. So they could have just been using the phone lines of in whatever country they were in. But almost every country voted for them as their number one choice. So as a gesture of support.
I must say, they did actually have a really good song. And I know, like, typically Eurovision songs are not that amazing, but their song was actually great, I must say.
Okay.
Yes, well done. So you've got 4.5 out of 5, Luke. Not bad.
I think you gave me that. You gifted me that one. Come on. I don't
did.
think I deserve that, in all honesty.
I don't know. Papua New Guinea, yeah, that was not a bad shout.
Come on. I didn't get that. Don't give me half a point for that. I don't deserve it.
No, I was thinking of saying that listeners could have it as well if they didn't get it the first time. They got it from my politically motivated.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let
Sure. Okay. All right. We'll take it if you're offering it.
I am. I'm feeling generous today. It's Christmas. It's.
Yay! That's the spirit.
Yes, and funnily you should mention Australia actually, because I think the best experience I've had of watching Eurovision was actually at a party in Australia. I went to a Eurovision party. Might have been the first time that Australia had been in Eurovision, because they're not in Europe, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. Everyone was dressing up and cheering and playing drinking games with the voting and things like that. It was brilliant, really good.
Okay.
I'd recommend Australia if you're going to watch the Eurovision Song Contest.
Oh, good. Man, we need a bit of that, don't we? I suppose a bit of a bit of the right party spirit.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we are now in June, so number 6. We're on question number 6. In June and July, there were serious heat waves across the whole of the Northern Hemisphere. The United Kingdom set a new record temperature on the 19th of July. What important number did the UK cross for the first time when recording this temperature? And if you're thinking, what an important number, what does that mean? It's a number with a 0 on the end. So what important number did the UK cross for the first time on the 19th of July?
This number represents a sort of a landmark figure in terms of high temperatures in the UK.
Exactly
right. And
right.
some people out there are going, what is it, 25 degrees? No, it was a bit hotter than that, all right? I think it's 40 degrees. I think that it topped 40 degrees in the UK somewhere. I think it got to about 41 degrees, didn't it?
Well done, Luke. That is absolutely right. It was 40 degrees, which absolutely smashed the previous record, because the previous record was 38 point something, and it went up to, I think the highest recorded was just under 41. It was like 40.9 or something, somewhere. So it was like 2 degrees above the previous record, and normally these records go up by 0.1, 0.2, tiny little bits like that, but this was a complete smashing. What a day that was. It was so hot all day. I guess you were in France.
It was 41 degrees.
41, there you go. yeah, exactly.
I was in France. It got pretty damn hot here too, let me tell you. Oh God, I don't like the hot weather. So there's another thing to look forward to, folks. Yeah, hey. Anyway, so you're in you're Canterbury, aren't you?
Yeah. We got 39 here that day.
Oh gosh, How did you actually survive? I mean, did you have any little? How did you deal with that? What techniques did you use?
My house is got, I don't know what it is. It's got a great shape for not taking in the heat that much, especially the bottom half. I don't know, just lucky, I guess. But no, just stayed in. I'm a big walker. I love walking and listening to podcasts. That's where I listen to most podcasts. I'm a bit of a podcast addict, and I have to walk every day. And I remember on that day, I just walked early in the morning and late at night, because during the middle of the day, it was just impossible to leave the house. But It didn't last too long. When I was living in Argentina in the north, there's some periods where it's around 40 degrees for 50 days at a time or something over the summer, so it's okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How on earth do you guys cope with that in the northern parts of Argentina? And then they're going, we don't care, we won the World Cup, yeah!
Yeah, that's right. Siesta, they really do. In the city I was living in Resistencia, they have a proper siesta, so all of the businesses close between 1 o'clock in the afternoon and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Everything's closed. But the day is really cut in half. So you've got all the shops and everything open between 9 and 1 in the morning, and then between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Most people go to sleep. Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. Like in Spain, they don't really do it that much anymore, but in the north of Argentina, they do.
Okay,
Yeah.
still doing the old siesta there.
Yeah, it's nice.
Good for you guys.
It's nice. I like it.
Good for you.
Right, number 7. Also in June. In the United States, there was a decision made by the Supreme Court which essentially changed the law on a very controversial topic. Democrats, including President Biden, disagreed with the decision of the Supreme Court, which has a majority of conservative judges. There were also many women-led protests after this decision. What was it that the Supreme Court said was not a constitutional right? I think if you didn't quite get that question, you might have to press replay, press rewind a little bit, because there's got a lot of big words in there.
It's basically one of the big controversial, divisive issues in life in the United States of America. Yeah. Which one is it, folks? Which one are we going to pick? Is it gun control? Is it abortion? Or is it gun control? Or is it abortion? What else do they all disagree with each other about over there? It's abortion. It's abortion laws. It was the women's right to have an abortion was taken away by the Supreme Court. But I understand that the different states can interpret the law as they see fit. But still, essentially, the Supreme Court said you're not allowed to have an abortion anymore. Like, what?
Luke, you said you weren't going to do very well on this quiz, and it sounds like you've been reading up every day.
I'll credit you for that, for making it easy on me. I was expecting it to be more difficult than this. So apparently I know more about the world than I gave myself credit for. I don't know. Or maybe I was just earlier on I said, I'm not going to do very well. Maybe I was just covering my arse, as we say.
No, well done. You are absolutely right. It is abortion. So yeah, the Supreme Court essentially changed this ruling from 50 years before, which said that abortion was a right. And it said that's not true anymore. And so now all of the states are able to make up their own decisions. And I can't remember what it is now, but I think about 15 states have just basically banned it completely. And so now you've got lots of women travelling between the states to go and have abortions in different places and things like that.
Yeah.
And actually, funnily enough, I'm just making sure there wasn't another question I've made on this. I'm not going to give away one of the answers, am I? No, I don't think so. And actually, strangely, even though the Republican Party have been trying to change that abortion law for many, many, many years, it actually had a negative effect on the Republican Party afterwards, because the Democrats were able to use this abortion issue as a bit of a boost for their campaigns for these midterm elections, and the Democrats actually did better than was expected before, possibly because of that, because he had a lot of people who might not have voted going, oh no, they've taken away our abortion rights, I'm going to go out and vote for the Democrats. So it actually had a positive effect on the Democratic Party. Yeah.
Interesting.
There we go. Now, July. Okay, we are on number 8. The 8th of July. Okay. Another bit of another kind of depressing question. Don't worry, there are some more positive questions coming soon, but bear with us. Bear with us. On the 8th of July, Japan's longest-serving prime minister was assassinated. What was his name?
Abe. Shinzo Abe.
Close enough.
Is that right?
Close enough. Yeah, I'm going to give you that.
No. Shinzo, not Shinto. Shinto's the name of a flipping religion in Japan. Shinzo.
It's right. Yeah.
Sorry, Japanese people. Yeah. I just made a fool of myself there. Shinzo Abe. Yeah, that was a horrible moment, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. The longest serving Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, was killed on the 8th of July. And it's really something really incredible because gun deaths are really, really rare in Japan. Like, even though I think Japan's population is about a third of the United States, in the United States, they have something like 15,000 gun deaths per year or something like that. In 2021, Japan had one death related to guns. And I don't know what it is for 2022, but there we go. Shinzo Abe.
Reminds me of a stand-up comedy routine by a comedian called Bill Hicks. Have you ever heard of Bill Hicks?
Yeah, but go on, give us the routine.
He was he passed away in 1994. So he's kind of a cult figure, really, but and had some controversial material, but some of his material is very funny. So he in one of his shows that he filmed in the UK in London, he was talking about gun control, and he said, in America they have 43,000 deaths from handguns every year. In the UK, 14, and he said probably American tourists too. Who are just annoyed about the food, like, you call this a sandwich? Oh, it's the way we eat here, isn't it? You don't boil pizza. Sorry to make light of actually what is a very serious story, but hopefully everyone will forgive me for it.
No, I think they will. I think they will. They'll be happy that Luke is turning Stephen's depressing quiz around. But no, great. Well done. You've got 8 and no wait, you've got 7.5 out of 8. That's amazing, Luke.
This is the best I've ever done in any kind of assessment, quiz, test, exam, whatever you want to call this. This is unprecedented, Stephen. I'd never normally do this well in this sort of thing.
They're going to be thinking that this is all set up, aren't they?
I'm kind of pinching myself going, is this real? Am I still lying in my bed, sick with flu, just delirious? Shinzo Abe. I'm going to wake up in half an hour and realise it was all just a dream.
Yeah, good. Well, if you've been counting your score on your fingers so far, listeners, then this quiz does go to 20, so you're going to have to start writing something down at some point. But there we go.
Unless you have 20 fingers.
Unless you have 20 fingers.
You never know, Stephen. I've got quite a lot of people listening to this podcast. There's bound to be one person who,
Yeah. Or maybe somebody
got 20 fingers.
Just, can count on their toes as well.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. Okay, question number 9. In July, there were huge protests in an island country. Protesters even entered the president's official residence, swam in his pool, and some even watched themselves on his television. After the president resigned... after that, the president resigned. Didn't say that right.
Yeah.
In which island country did this happen?
Oh la la, he said, sounding very French. An island country. It sounds a bit like the insurgency at the Capitol building, which happened in America like ages ago. Anyway, there's nothing to do with this. This is not the answer. An island nation. People broke into the president's residence.
Yeah.
And swam in his pool and watched themselves on his TV, on his security cameras.
This was really incredible scenes where you had essentially, of course, the whole thing's being covered by journalists and things, the media there, and you could actually just see at one point these people who were in the president's, I don't know whether it was his bedroom or his living room or something, and they just put the TV on, and of course on the TV there's a cameraman behind them filming them. So they were just like a circular thing of them seeing themselves on the TV there.
So was this a coup? Was this basically an uprising, some sort of revolt? I wouldn't
call it a coup because it didn't involve a faction or an opposition party or the military taking power. That actually didn't happen. Instead, after this, the president wasn't in the building at the time. I think he'd gone somewhere else. He eventually escaped. I think he went to Singapore, and from there he resigned, and then somebody else has taken over. There's been a few more protests since then, actually. There's a lot of economic problems as well in this country at the moment. But essentially, in July, there was this main big series of protests where the president's official residence was kind of captured by these protesters. I think they stayed in there for about 2 days and then they just left.
Ate all the food and then left.
Yeah. I think probably the swimming pool was the thing that got the most attention. You just had all of these people swimming in this pool.
Okay. Yeah, well, I suppose when you do break into the president's residence, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, well, we broke in. Now what? Oh, nice swimming pool. Anyone fancy a swim?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to say pass. I don't know, and I don't want to give an answer which is just stupid.
Don't want to choose an island country. Okay.
There's a lot of island countries out there. I mean, it could be in the Caribbean. It could be in another place that's in the sea.
Yeah.
Shall
I give you a clue for a half point again, or
if you like? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. It's not in the Caribbean. Is that a clue? Is that a decent enough clue or not?
Well, I mean, there's the Philippines and stuff, but I mean, I don't know if it's. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm okay. I'm willing to say I don't know.
No, you had a clue there. It was Sri Lanka.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course it was. Hello, people in Sri Lanka. Sorry, I got that answer wrong. Sorry, I forgot about you.
Got to get one wrong. You're still doing really well there. Look, out of 9, you've got 7.5. That is
okay.
Really very impressive.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that people of the Sri Lanka now, how do we get into Luke's apartment? Does he have a swimming pool?
Yeah, totally. What would they do if somebody broke into your house and just kind of wanted to squat there for 2 days? What would they? What do you think they'd end up doing?
Hopefully, they would do some housework. I mean, there is some washing up that needs to be done and a bit of hoovering. So if you could just clean the bathroom and and tidy away all of the dishes, that would be good. Other than that, I don't know. There's not a hell of a lot for them to do there. Maybe play with some of the toys in my daughter's bedroom.
Yeah, you've got a lot of guitars, don't you?
Yeah, but they're all here. Most of them are here. But yeah, I've got one guitar in the. Yeah, maybe they would sit around and have a sing song, "Kumbaya, my lord," or I don't know. Maybe they can all sit around and play "Imagine" by John Lennon and sort of. Imagine the world as a more peaceful place, and then get out of my flipping apartment, for goodness sake.
Anyway, you'll be happy to know that just in case they ever do this, they actually said that they left after 2 or 3 days because they didn't want to damage the building, because they wanted to keep it in a nice order, and they actually did just hand it back over to the police after that. So there won't be any.
But the president did resign.
Yeah, he went to Singapore. I don't know if he ever came back, actually. I think he resigned there, and somebody else was chosen who also isn't very popular. So I don't know. Anyway,
okay.
Moving on from Sri Lanka, we are actually going back to the UK now. So you can feel safe with this one, maybe.
Kind of.
Maybe.
It depends if there's a rail strike, a heat wave.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. September. Question number 10. What have you got now? 8. What have you got? 7.5? 8.5? Leave count.
I don't know. I didn't get that one
you
right.
You got 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah, out of 9. There we go. So question number 10. On September the 8th, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth died at the age of 96. She was the longest reigning monarch in British history and one of the longest in the history of the world. How many years was she queen?
How many years was she queen? Okay. Well, she was crowned in 52. She died in 22. Maths. That's the sound of my brain doing maths. Or maybe I should do that sound of the of like a dial-up internet connection. I've got an analog brain, which takes a long time to download numerical data and to process numbers. 70 years.
Well, you managed to do that calculation whilst also making funny noises, so your brain's not too slow. That is correct. It is 70 years. Well done.
70 years.
She was the Queen for 70 years. They say the only one who, the longest in British monarchy history, and the only one which is longer than her in the world was a French king who I can't remember who it is now.
I think it's 14, Louis the 14th.
Oh, look at that! You brain box. You just know that straight off the top.
Check me out, everyone.
Wow, well done.
I hope that's right. I do hope that's right. I'm Googling something now, okay? Longest serving monarch in history. I think it's Louis the 14th, but oh, this is one of those things where all the different websites are going to give me different information. According to countryliving.com, I don't know if this is a reliable source. French King Louis XIV is the longest reigning monarch, having served as monarch for more than 72 years after taking the throne at age 4.
Exactly.
I mean, that's cheating. That's cheating, isn't it?
That is precisely what I was going to say, Luke. I mean, like, yeah, coming on at 4, that really is cheating. I mean,
yeah, if you start at 4, I mean, come on.
The Queen was 24, I think. Was it?
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
she was a proper grown up, not just a little
26.
little kid in a nappy or something. Although, was he in a nappy at 4? I don't know.
Don't know if they had nappies back then.
Probably not. Ugh, it's disgusting. What a disgusting thought. There's something to be thankful for, listeners. At least children have nappies these days. Fair enough, they're disposable ones, but anyway, it would be the world would be a much messier, smellier, and less happy place if we didn't have nappies.
That is called human progress, people. That's what it is. Okay, great. Well done. Well, that was you know, we're halfway through. You got 10 questions there, and Luke, you've got 8.5. So well done, brilliant.
Okay, can I just pause you there?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to take a toilet break.
Yeah,
I know everyone and that's far too much information for everyone.
Yeah.
But let's just say I'm going to go and just freshen up in the toilet. I'll be back in one moment.
Great.
Okay. Obviously, I'm going to edit this out. I'm not going to take the camera with me, folks. Don't worry. I'm not going to include that moment in the podcast. That would be far too much detail. But let's have a little break now, okay? And we'll be back in just a moment. And we're back, everybody. Stephen, did you top up your mate?
I did.
That you were drinking
in honor of the Argentinian football team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's your staple hot drink, I understand.
It is, especially if I know that I'm going to be sat in one position for a couple of hours, like talking to you. Then I would. I drink coffee in the morning. You know, maybe a tea in the afternoon. But if I know that I've got a long period where I'm at my desk, I love having a mate. Yeah, this is one thing that's really stuck with me. Even though I haven't lived in Argentina for like 4 or 5 years. But it's great.
Nice.
Have you ever tried it?
I've never tried it. I've never tried it, listeners.
Wow.
Some people are like, "What?
Yeah.
You've never tried mate? Luke, you must try mate." And then people are going to be emailing me their mate recipes and stuff now. Feel free, please. Yeah. Feel free. I would love to try. I'd love to get involved, but I don't know. Like, the only thing that puts me off is like the cup, the management of and maintenance of that wooden cup.
Yeah.
Really, it doesn't require a lot of work to keep it kind of clean or whatever.
I mean, I think some people would say that you know, there are some ways that you should treat it and things like this, but I never have, and it's fine. It's totally fine. I've got like 3. I think one of them's gone a bit green and mouldy from using it too much, but yeah,
then you just get a new one.
Yeah, which in Argentina is so easy because almost every shop sells them. But yeah, in England, yeah, a bit more difficult, but still, yeah, it's worth it because it's great.
There is I don't know if this is sort of wrong to say this. I don't know how the Argentinians will feel about this, but there's a Colombian shop just not far from where I live, and I think they sell mate in bags.
Really? Yeah.
But is that likely to be true? Do they do it in Colombia as well?
I don't think so. No, I think.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know
for
what
me,
I'm
the
talking
only
about.
countries that really drink mate are Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, maybe a little bit in Brazil and in Chile, and then for some reason, I think in Syria, a lot of people drink it as well. I don't know what the connection is there. Either Syrians going to Argentina or Argentinians going to Syria or something, some connection there.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, maybe in Colombia, maybe it's just because they know that South Americans go to that shop that they get it there. But yeah.
Yeah, perhaps. It's one of those things that, when when you go out, when there's like it's a bit like you'd find like a sort of an English shop in like Asia or something might also sell some French products, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Nutella.
I've been drinking, yeah, exactly. I've been drinking kombucha this morning, which is do you know what kombucha is?
Yeah, I've seen people making it before, but yeah, it's like fermented something, right?
It's fermented tea.
Huh.
It's tea which is then left to ferment,
Yeah.
and it kind of naturally goes fizzy.
Yeah.
And apparently it's full of good bacteria. So I'm drinking that in order to try and replace the lost bacteria in my gut, because I just took a course of antibiotics because I had a chest infection, which was really wonderful. I recommend chest infections, listeners. Fantastic. If you want to have a really good time just before Christmas, in the run up to Christmas, get yourself a chest infection. Way!
Yeah, especially with a fever.
Oh yeah, get flu plus chest infection. But anyway, hopefully the kombucha will help to replace the good bacteria in my gut, which gets wiped out by the antibiotics. The antibiotics obviously gets rid of the infection wherever in your body, in my lungs in this case. But the kombucha is hopefully replacing some of that. These are fascinating details, aren't they, listeners?
Is it tasty though? The only time I've ever had kombucha, I didn't really like it.
I like it personally,
okay,
but I can understand it might be a bit of an acquired taste.
Yeah, well, they say the same thing about mate. So.
This one's kind of got lemon and ginger in it as well, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And I've just brewed myself a cup of green tea here in a Luke's English Podcast mug, which are available, listeners. Luke's English Podcast mugs and other merchandise. teacherluke.co.uk/merch. There you go.
There.
Let's carry on with the quiz.
Let's do it. Okay. Right, you're on 8.5 out of 10. Well done. Well done.
This is amazing. Yeah.
Great. And actually, we're staying in the UK for this one as well. Number 11.
Mm-hmm.
Going from the longest reign to the shortest term, just before Queen Elizabeth died, she accepted her 15th Prime Minister. But this Prime Minister only lasted for 50 days before they were forced to resign. What is the name of this Prime Minister?
Listeners, do you know? If my listeners, A, follow the news in the UK, or B, listen to the Rick Thompson report, then they should know the answer to this one.
And if they listen to SEND7, Simple English News Daily.
Yeah,
of course,
absolutely. And that as well, of course.
And if you haven't done very well so far on this quiz, then next year you should listen to Simple English News Daily every day, and you'll get 20 out of 20 on the 2023 edition of this quiz.
Exactly. Never mind IELTS. Never mind TOEFL, TOEIC, or the Duolingo test. It's all about the Luke's English Podcast SEND7 news quiz of the year.
Absolutely.
That's the test that you really want to pass.
Absolutely. Yeah. Put it on your CV.
So the Prime Minister who came in September promptly, who she went and shook hands with the Queen, who then promptly died several days later.
Two days. Yeah.
And then she did the same thing to the economy.
That's right.
And everyone was like, "What? Stop her now! Get her out now!" and she resigned. So we're talking about Liz Truss, of course.
That is exactly right. Yeah, that's right.
Liz Truss.
In Liz, we did not trust. No.
Not at all.
No. Yeah, there we go. 49 days she was Prime Minister. By far, the shortest Prime Minister the UK has ever had. There we go. So Liz Truss was the answer. It's number 11. You're on 9.5 out of 11, Luke. Very good. Well done. Excellent. Okay. Got to write it down now, otherwise I'm going to forget. Okay, number 12. We are in October, and we're going to Brazil. In October, how's your Brazilian politics, Luke? Here we go.
I know one thing about Brazilian politics.
Okay, well, let's see if you know two. Number 12.
Hopefully that's the question.
In October, Brazil held one of the biggest elections in the world with over 120 million people voting. Right-wing President Jair Bolsonaro was beaten by a former left-wing president. What is the one-word name of that politician who will be president again on the 1st of January?
Yeah, I do actually know this.
Hey.
No, it's not. It's a famous Brazilian with just one name. There's quite a lot of them.
He's pretty much generally just known by his one-word name.
It's not Pele.
He's not Pele. No, it's not Pele. Well done. Sorry if that was your choice. Former left-wing president, and he's going to be president again in 13 days from us recording this podcast.
Okay. So we're talking about Lula.
That is absolutely right. Way!
Yay.
Yeah, brilliant. Well done. Look at that. You know your Brazilian politics as well, Luke.
I know my Brazilian politic. Just the one.
Just the one. You were hoping the answer was either going to be Lula or Bolsonaro, right?
Exactly, yeah.
It was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Dodged a bullet there. Look at that. You got 10.5 out of 12. Amazing.
Incredible. I mean, you're making it easy for me, Stephen. But thank you for that. I'm very happy. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take all the glory.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Luke, because we are actually going around the world with these questions, I kind of wanted to make sure that they're reasonably easy, even though they are from everywhere, so that people have a chance. Because I don't know what the average listener in Indonesia knows about Brazil or Italy, where the next question is from. So, number 13, Italy also had an election in October. The Brothers of Italy is now leading a right-wing coalition. Although she might not agree with it, most media coverage has said that Giorgia Meloni is the most far-right leader that Italy has had since who?
Oh God, really? It's Benito Mussolini, isn't it?
That's absolutely
There's
right.
something to be proud of, Italy. There's something to be proud of.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Well done, Luke. Look at that. Well done. Yeah, you didn't think that your World News 2022 quiz was going to have an answer from 1943, but it did. Yeah, that's right. Giorgia Meloni. I don't know if it's Mussolini or if it's whoever was in. Oh, I don't know. There's probably one of those things where, well, actually Mussolini was gone and they had someone else for like an intervening period until 1945, and he was. I don't think so.
I don't know, but
I don't.
But
think,
no. Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
So I don't know how to pithily put this, but yeah, since 1940, the most far right candidate since World War II. But the thing is, though, would Meloni, that's her name, right? Yeah. Would she say, "Oh yeah, I'm a far right candidate"?
I think she would say
the
that
most far right candidate since World War II. Would she say that?
No, I don't think so. I think she would say that she's right. She's conservative. And then she'd just say, and I'm standing up for family values and things like this. rather than agreeing that she is far right or anything like that. But essentially, the party that she is the leader of today, it did actually, if you go 70 years back, it's got the people, the, how do you say, ancestors, going from one generation to the next, do actually go all the way back to Mussolini's fascist party. Although she might not agree with that as well. And the logo of the party, which is this tricolor flame, is the same logo that was used by all of the people who left Mussolini's fascist party when they started their next party. They used that flame. So yeah, it's got some real connections there. But I'm sure if there are any Italians who voted for Meloni this year, then
there will be.
They'll be sending you some angry emails telling me, telling you to exactly, gesticulating through email.
They'll say, a phrase that they say when they do this with their hands, which essentially means, "What are you talking about?
Yeah,
you don't know what you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about." Some of them will be doing that now. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Right. Going to America now, to the United States. Number 14. The world's richest person, Elon Musk, bought social media company Twitter at the end of October.
Mm-hmm.
How much did he pay? And if you're thinking, well, I don't know how to guess exactly how much he paid, I'm going to give quite a broad area that you can get in between to get this right. But I'm not going to tell you what that is, because
again, you're being very generous.
I am going to be generous. I'm going to be generous. So, how much did Elon Musk pay for Twitter?
Quite a lot, wasn't it? I mean, it was like billions or something. God, how much? See, the thing is, I'm on Twitter and I actually see a lot of Elon's tweets and some of the. I mean, it's total chaos.
Yeah.
What on earth is he doing? He's all over the place.
Did you see what he put on last night?
Yeah, he put a poll up saying, "Okay, if you want me to stand down as the chief executive of Twitter, or if you want me to, sell it or whatever it is," then he put a poll up saying, he created a poll on Twitter asking people to vote whether he should stay or go. And at this point, it's something like 57% of respondents have said that he should go.
Yeah.
So is he really going to go? I mean, what is this vanity project that I mean, it's such an odd move. And again, there's lots of people follow and love Elon like some kind of cult leader, and so a lot of people will be, jumping up and down, going, "You must not criticize Elon. He put a thing into the sky.
Yeah,
he made cars with batteries. Don't criticize him. He's brilliant." But I mean, the way he's been managing Twitter has been a complete disaster.
Seems quite dictatorial, doesn't it? Like
I don't know what. It just seems to be just a vanity project, like an ego thing of just like, I'm going to buy Twitter, and then everyone has to agree with me, and if they don't, then I'm just going to post some stupid memes. I don't know. Very, very odd. Very odd move.
Yeah.
But how much did he pay for Twitter? I actually can't remember. But it's something like $3 billion, isn't it? Something like that.
Is that going to be your final answer, Luke?
I think I'm wrong. It's either way more than that or way less than that. I don't know. I'm going to say $3 billion, and I think I'm wrong.
You're going to go with $3 billion. I'm afraid that you are not within the range that I was going to accept for this answer. No, the answer was $44 billion. $44 billion.
$44 billion?
Yeah, it's a couple of bob. Yeah, $44 billion. And the answer for all of the listeners who were like, "Oh no, but I said 43." The range that I was going to say was between 40 and 50 billion dollars. So if you said anything, listeners, between 40 billion and 50 billion, then bing, you got a point. Well done. 44 billion though. Isn't that amazing?
And I don't know if surely he's not made any of it back. I mean, he's just splashed $44 billion on Twitter so that he could reinstate Donald Trump, who was then like, who ignored it. I think. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, because he's bought his own. He's spent loads of money on his own
social network.
Yeah, and
call it the Truth Net or something.
Yeah, that's right. And if he now uses Twitter, then all of the people from who the few people who have gone to his one will just leave and go back to Twitter. So he can't. Trump actually can't go and tweet anything on Twitter now because he'll lose money himself. Oh dearie. Embarrassing situation, but there we go.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't have recommended it. If I was Elon Musk's financial advisor, I could think of a few better places to put $44 billion than in Twitter. But
when you're the richest person in the world, then it starts to become a bit meaningless, doesn't it? In the end, it's just like, if you got the money to buy Twitter just for a laugh, then you do it, don't you? And then I don't know.
Though I've actually heard recently, I don't know whether this is maintained for the last week, that he might not be the richest person in the world anure.
He's not anymore. No, I understand that he's. I don't know who is.
It's French man, isn't it? I can't remember the name of
French who? It's not my wife, is it?
Yeah, don't think so. No.
So I think I would have noticed.
Okay, Google away, everybody. I'm not going to do it now, but it was somebody else who might have $200 million. But it's when Twitter's shares have gone down in value, and that's pushed Elon Musk's not Twitter, sorry, Tesla's shares have gone down in value, and that's pushed down the value of Musk himself. Anyway, here we go. Go on.
I just said whoops.
Whoops. Yeah, absolutely. Whoops. Wiped a few billion off the world economy. November. Number 15. We are on number 15. I think you've got 12.5 points out of 15 now. No, out of 14.
12.5 points out of 14. No, I got this Elon Musk one wrong, so that means that I've dropped a point there. So I think I'm on 11.5 points out of 14 now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Dropping down to a much more normal sort of average score, which is where I'm comfortable. Honestly, Stephen, just sitting there in the just above average category. That's what I'm comfortable with. If I'm too successful, I don't know what to do. If I've failed too much, then I don't know what to do. Just that sweet spot of just above average, and I'm okay. Like, I don't bring too much attention to myself.
Okay, well, let's see if you can stay there in the next 5 questions. Number 15. In November, we're in Africa now. In November, leaders from all over the world met for COP27, the annual climate change meeting. In which African country did they all meet?
I really don't know for sure, but there's a little voice in the back of my head that is saying Nigeria. I don't know why. I mean, there's lots of countries in Africa, so the chances are I'm bang wrong, completely wrong. But is
that your final answer then? Nigeria?
God, is it Nigeria? Is it Ivory Coast? Is it Cameroon? Would it be Nigeria at this time? There's been a lot of stuff going on in that part of Africa lately, a lot of trouble, but also probably Nigeria.
Nigeria. It's not Nigeria. I think it could have been, but it's not Nigeria, I'm afraid. It wasn't Nigeria.
Oh.
It was Egypt. Egypt is where it was held. COP27. Yeah, there we go. So,
damn.
You're still on 11.5 then out of 15.
Why did I say Nigeria? I don't know why. It's because that stupid voice in the back of my head is going, Luke, it's Nigeria. It's definitely Nigeria. Why? I don't know. It just is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something else particular that happened in Nigeria this year, and I'm afraid I can't. Nothing rings a bell.
All sorts of stuff probably happened. Like a guy fell over in the street. Someone forgot about their wife's birthday.
Yeah.
A cat got chased by a dog. The usual sorts of things. I'm sure loads of things happened.
Yeah, somebody built a tree
Nigeria,
house.
but it wasn't that.
No,
it wasn't the COP27 meeting.
No, it wasn't. Damn. I'm afraid it wasn't. No, lots of important leaders and things met together and said that climate change was very important, and then went home. as usual. There we go.
But they didn't actually make an agreement or make any sort of binding promises or anything like that.
The most, how do you say, kind of important thing that they said that they did was to make promises to countries which are already being affected by climate change that they are going to give them money. So, like Pakistan, which has just had these really massive floods this year, that they're making a special fund to give money to countries which are being affected by climate change already. That was probably, I think that was the only significant thing that happened this year. But no, not really. What climate change organisations and things want to happen of just putting an end date for oil and gas and things, that didn't happen. So if it hasn't happened now, it probably never will. Okay, number 16. Yeah, number 16. This was a proper world question, this one. Number 16. In November, the world passed a very significant number of people. What number was that? As in, what massive population number did the world go past in November?
So we're talking about global population
exactly
of humans.
Right. That is correct. Not sheep.
No, because that would bump the number up significantly if it was sheep or fish or insects or other life forms. Anyway, so how many people now exist on Earth? It's now over 8 billion people.
That is the correct answer. Well done, Luke.
Yes.
Yeah, well
done.
Got
it right.
Look at that. Well done. 12.5 points for you, Luke, out of 16. Well done. How are you doing, listeners at home? Are you beating Luke? Are you? Well, I hope so. If not,
feel good.
Don't worry.
If you are beating me, feel good about that, okay?
Yeah, 12.5. It's much better than you thought you were going to do so far, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I was concerned that I wouldn't know anything, but thankfully you've kept the questions fairly achievable.
Yeah,
because I mean the amount of detail that you could have gone into here, because there are, as we said, there are things happening around the world constantly all the time. If you'd asked me about what was the name of the cat that got chased by a dog down the street in El Salvador in November, then I'd be like, I'm not sure, I don't know that one.
Could have been.
But thankfully,
I could have just made question 16 exactly how many people are there in the world right now. Would have been a bit more mean.
Right now at 12:39 and 32 seconds, how many people exist on Earth? Now, go. 8,700,000,007. Sorry, Luke, the answer was 8,008,000,008. Someone just... 8 billion and 8. Someone just got born while you were answering the question. Sorry, Luke.
Oh, well. Okay, number 17. Do you know what? Before we started recording, Luke, I was trying to find this audio that I had grabbed from the internet, because for question 17, I wanted to play a tiny little clip of somebody talking, to give it a bit more context to this question. But I just couldn't find it. I thought I saved it somewhere and I didn't. But anyway, here's question 17. There was a lot of controversy before the start of the World Cup, mostly because it has actually been shown that the decision to hold the World Cup in Qatar was affected by corruption, and also because of the bad treatment and deaths of migrant workers who went to build the infrastructure in Qatar, and also because being gay is illegal in Qatar, and women need the permission of men to be able to do some basic things like leave the country. So, in an attempt to reduce the controversy, the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, gave a strange speech the day before the World Cup started, which actually just made everything worse. Infantino said that he feels like certain groups of people. Could you name at least 3 out of the 6 groups that he claimed to feel like? And this is the moment, Luke, when I was going to press my sound recording button, and you were going to listen to Gianni Infantino say, and I'm just going to try and do my Gianni Infantino voice because I don't have the recording, but he says, "Today I feel," and then he says a kind of person, and he says, "Today I feel something. Today I feel something. Today I feel something." He says that he feels like 6 kinds of people. You can have a point if you can get at least 3 of these.
Oh my
groups.
God. But I don't think he's going to be saying, "Today I feel like the women of Qatar, who, like everyone, are very excited about this World Cup, even though they can't attend without their husband's permission. And today I feel like, the LGBTQ plus community in Qatar, who are also very excited that everyone's talking about them, even though it's going to make absolutely no difference to their human rights and their freedoms. And today I feel like the migrant workers, 6,500 of whom died while actually making the World Cup stadiums and infrastructure that have allowed this World Cup to happen." I don't think he will have said that. I don't know, what did he say? Which groups of people? Today I feel like the Smurfs because I don't know. Today I feel like the Jawas from Star Wars because I don't know what. I've no idea which groups of people he compared himself to on the eve of this most controversial of World Cups. What on earth could he possibly say that would? What did he think would have been good? Today I feel like I have no idea. Basically, he was saying, "Today I feel fantastic because the World Cup's about to start." Was that the general idea?
No. Do you know what? Some of the things that you've just said sound completely ridiculous are actually what he said, which is
what?
The whole
Smurfs?
So, which is why it just made everything worse. You've named at least one of the groups actually already.
The Jawas from Star Wars. Today I feel like the Jawas from Star Wars because they have glowing eyes. I also have glowing eyes when I imagine all the money that I'm going to make from all of this football that everyone loves so much. They love it so much that they are willing to forget about the injustices of the world as we cleanse our consciences and fill our pockets. I have no idea, Stephen.
No, God, do you know what? I really want you to give it a go. I'm going to tell you what. It's not the Jawas. It wasn't them. But
is it the LGBTQ plus community?
Do you know what? Go on. Say another couple, and I might give you that. But go on.
Well, it's either like the LGBTQ like base. Yeah, it's either LGBTQ plus. Or it's women, or it's migrant workers who work for like 1 grain of rice a day.
Yeah.
It's one of those 3 groups, isn't it?
Well,
what did he do? What did he say?
You've got to get 3 out of 6. So
okay, migrant workers. It's the migrant workers. I'm going to say that he said, "Today I feel like the."
Okay, do you know what? I'm going to say individually whether they're right or wrong. So migrant workers is one of the groups. Well done, Luke. Well done. You've got one of them. Okay, go on. Give me another one. See if you...
I don't know. Today I feel like those poor boys and girls who, through no fault of their own, were born with a different sexuality, a sexual preference.
Do you know what?
And I've had to hide it
do you know what?
For fear of being beaten to death.
Yeah. That is...
I don't know.
I'm going to say that is close enough as well. It was just, today I feel gay. So that is actually one of them. So that is close enough, Luke. So that's 2. Could you get another one to get a point here?
So today I feel like a migrant worker. Today I feel gay. And today I feel like a woman. Is that what he said?
Oh, sorry, Luke, but it isn't. That would have made more sense, but it wasn't. It wasn't, I'm afraid. Do you want to have one more guess?
Today I feel like Papa Smurf. Because as the leader of the Smurfs,
No, I'm afraid
I understand how proud one must feel when one looks at your successful Smurf family and all the successful commercial sponsorship tie-ins that we've had with the different sweet companies over the years, and the Smurf franchise is doing really, really well. That's why I feel like a Smurf today.
Today I feel rich. No, that wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
No, I tell you what. I've just whilst you've been talking about Papa Smurf, I've actually just YouTubed the speech. Should we listen to it to hear the answer to this question?
Okay, let's do it.
Today I feel Qatari. Today I feel Arab. Today I feel African. Today I feel gay. Today I feel disabled. Today I feel a migrant worker.
There you go. So
Wait
couldn't make
a
this up,
second.
could you?
Just hold on a second, right? Today I feel Qatari. Today I feel African. Today I feel gay.
Yeah.
Today I feel disabled. And then he said, today I feel a migrant worker. Which poor migrant worker is getting felt by the president of FIFA?
Today I feel a migrant worker.
It's like, oh, I have to work for virtually no money, and he's going to feel me as well. I get sexually assaulted by the head of FIFA, as well as having to build a fucking stadium for virtually no money.
I know. I've asked for him to help me out, to try and get me a better circumstance.
I think what he meant is today I feel like
definitely
a migrant worker.
Good. Well done.
Not today I feel a migrant worker.
Well done, English.
Get it right.
Teacher
Come on,
Luke.
he's the president of FIFA. He's got to get that one right. He made it. That was a huge error.
Yeah, it was
not just an error of judgment.
Everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was an error in so many ways. It was an error in the grammatical sense because, of course, it should be I feel like a Qatari. I feel like an Arab. I feel like an African. I feel like a gay person. I feel like a disabled person. I feel like a migrant worker. But also, it was an error. Go on.
The others were okay. I feel Qatari. That's fine. Yeah. Grammatically.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, I feel Qatari.
I feel disabled. I feel gay. I feel African. All grammatically correct. I feel a migrant worker. It's like, now's not the time to admit that. Keep it private. Wait, at least tell the police later.
Yeah, that's right.
Not now.
Yeah.
Don't feel migrant workers, and please pay them a reasonable wage.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Just to, you could say, of course, I feel Qatari or I feel like a Qatari person. That's fine as well. But yeah, I feel like a migrant worker. But anyway, this whole thing was an error because it just sounded completely ridiculous.
Genuinely, what was he thinking? What did he think that he would achieve with that?
Yeah, you could just feel all of his, media people and the people, all of his advisors just scratching their faces off in horror as he was saying these words. The day before the World Cup started, and he was ripped apart in the newspapers and on
was
the
he
media.
criticised? Yeah,
he was criticised heavily criticised, and also especially because he said that he knows what it's like to be discriminated against because when he was at school he had red hair and people made fun of him, and this was supposed to console the migrant workers who have been exploited, and as you say, lots of them have died in Qatar, which gives them virtually no rights to work there. But anyway, there we go. That is Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, everyone. Thank you for that.
Gianni Infantile, as we'll call him from now on.
Yes, we can. There we go. Okay, that was question number 17. No points for that one, I'm afraid, Luke. But You hadn't heard that
Still.
before? I thought everybody had heard that. No.
I've never heard that before. That's extraordinary.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Don't
Right.
mind getting the point wrong. Just
Yeah. Take that memory out of my head. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Oh God.
you've got 12.5 points, I think.
I've no idea.
Well,
I don't know anymore.
I'm going to say you got 12.5. There you go. And
Thank you.
compare yourselves to that, everyone. Number 18, and we are going around the world. Lots of volcanoes erupted this year, including in Iceland, Indonesia, Tonga, and Vanuatu. But most recently, one erupted in the United States, and it is still continuing right now. In which American state is it erupting?
Let's think, listeners, all right? No, I actually don't know the answer, so I'm going to have to guess. Now, maybe you know the answer, dear listener. Maybe you know the answer to this because you're better informed than I am and just generally are just a better person than me. But let's have an educated guess about this. Which American state's got all the volcanoes in it? Now, if we think about the mainland of the United States, obviously there are some parts that do have a lot of seismic and volcanic activity, like in Yellowstone Park, for example, right? Those geysers that spew hot water and gas into the air because there's lots of volcanic activity underground, super volcanoes and stuff. But it's not, though, is it, listeners? Because don't forget, there's Hawaii. That's an American state out there in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Tons of volcanoes there. It's mainly just one big volcano, isn't it? There, beautiful place. Apparently, I've never been. I'd love to go, but lots of volcanoes, and I do believe I saw some video footage of someone shooting something from out of their kitchen window of just lava just flowing down the road, or lava flowing down a field outside their kitchen window or something. It's like, I don't need to turn on the cooker to make my scrambled eggs today. I could just open the window and just put my saucepan out of the window. I think it's Hawaii.
You are absolutely right. Well done, Luke.
Yes.
Well done. It is Hawaii. Well done. It's still going right now. And
is it?
Yeah, it's still going right now. I don't know whether people are still able to fry their eggs out there, as you said, but it is. It's still continuing. Well done, Luke. And
again,
great process of elimination there.
Being very flippant about, what it must be like for the residents. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's a lot more serious than that. But anyway, extraordinary.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay, question number 19. We're nearly at the end now. If you're behind Luke, you've got 2 opportunities to push yourself ahead. Right, we're going to China now. 19. In China, there have been a lot of protests recently. If you haven't heard about them, then it might be because you're in China. One of the biggest... one of the biggest protests was in the Foxconn factory in the city of Zhengzhou, where they make Apple iPhones. People said that they had been forced to quarantine inside the factory. How many people work in that factory? And don't worry, I'm going to give you some options for this one, Luke, because otherwise that would be a bit mean. How many people work in this Foxconn factory in Zhengzhou making iPhones? Is it 200, 2,000, 20,000, or 200,000 people?
Oh my God. Is that possible? Could they possibly have 200,000 people working in one factory? And is it possible that they were forced to quarantine in that factory? Is that 200,000 people? Is that possible? Because that can't be possible. You can't get 200. But this is China, Luke. The rules are different there. There's certainly a lot of people there. Can't be 200,000 though. I'm going to say 20,000 people.
Yeah, just to remind the listeners, just in case I went through those a bit quickly, the options for how many people work in this factory was 200, 2,000, 20,000, or 200,000.
Okay,
So,
and the story is that people there were protesting because according to them, they've been forced to quarantine in the factory.
yeah.
Which
I'm not sure if it was all of them or some of them, but some people definitely were not allowed to leave because of coronavirus measures, so they were forced to stay in there. There was also some other problems with pay and things like that, but mostly it was the COVID stuff was what they were protesting against, and that was really a part of the trigger for some wider protests in cities all around China after that.
Protesting China's zero COVID policy.
Yeah, which since then has been pretty much reversed.
It has been changed, yeah. But I understand that before, and listeners can correct me, obviously, which I'm sure they will if they are that motivated to do so. I understand that the zero COVID policy kind of meant that if anyone had symptoms of COVID, they were forced to quarantine in special quarantine camps.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not like here in France where if you got symptoms, you got to stay at home for a certain number of days. But there that you actually had to be taken to a special place where you would be isolated and in a special camp.
The problem is,
which
Luke,
does
because
the word isolation camp obviously does sound horrendous.
Oh God, it's really
scary.
I
don't know in reality, I don't know what that actually is, but
the problem is, Luke,
nevertheless,
because the information that comes out of China is so manipulated by the government, it's so controlled, it's really impossible to know what the situation actually was in China. It's really impossible to know how were there a lot of people in these quarantine centers and things. I don't really know.
And do alternative opinions are alternative opinions included in the list of COVID symptoms? Do you know what I mean? It's like COVID symptoms include a scratchy sore throat, high temperature, aching limbs, and criticisms of the government.
Yeah. Actually, this seems like a good moment to mention. I don't know. I think I forgot to mention this last time, but Simple English News Daily is banned in China. So if anybody is listening and actually from China and actually wants to listen to Simple English News Daily, my podcast, then you have to use a VPN, which quite a few people do, which is awesome. You should do that. Use a VPN. I hope that yours doesn't get taken away from China just because this podcast episode has news in the title, which I think is the reason that...
After some of the content of this episode, Stephen, who knows? Maybe the world's going to be like, wait a minute, hold on a minute. What's up with Luke's English podcast? Quick, ban it instantly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just learning English, isn't it, everyone?
Exactly.
We're just learning English, real British English. It's just British humour, listeners. It's all right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There we go. So back to the question. How many people work in this factory? 200, 2,000, 20,000... or 200,000?
I think it's definitely possible that 20,000 people work in the factory. It could be a huge, factory, not just one building. It could be a complex of different buildings in the same way that you can squeeze 20,000 people into a football stadium. I'm going to go for 20,000, but, it could be 2,000. I don't know, Stephen. 20,000.
It is 200,000.
Shut up. 200,000.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Isn't that absolutely insane? Yeah. I'm trying to think of a city which has got some similar population to that, but it's 200,000. Yeah.
That's a whole town of people. That's not just a factory.
No, a big town. It's more than my town, right? I live in Canterbury. I think the population's about 80,000 or less than 100,000. So it's got more than double. This factory's got more than double the population of my city. It's actually classified as a city. So there you go. 200,000 people. They make 70% of the iPhones in the world, I believe.
Thanks, guys. By the way, thanks for the iPhones.
Yeah.
Thanks for making all the iPhones.
Yeah. Sorry about the conditions.
I don't know. Sorry about the conditions and everything, but thanks for the iPhones. But
Isn't that amazing? Yeah,
I don't know. My brain can't handle that.
It's pretty crazy. It is. Yeah, that's how that question got in here. I read it, and then I went and I was like googling away, like it can't be 200,000 people working in this factory, and
they were the protests were that they weren't allowed to leave the factory.
Yeah, there was also some protests about their pay being delayed or something like that as well. But mostly it was just them being monitored and not being allowed to leave the factory, like them being forced to quarantine within the factory compound or something. And the protests that started there kind of then spread to other places in China, including Beijing and Shanghai and things like that. And essentially ended the zero COVID policy, which of course President Xi is never going to admit that these protests led to that being stopped, but they basically did, which is quite amazing to actually see protests be able to change something in China, despite the fact that all of the information about these protests was of course being taken down immediately. And you know, if a social media post gets put up on Weibo, then it just gets immediately taken down. And I had some people write to me say that they had the police phone them and ask them questions like, why did you put up this post and things like that. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yes.
Good luck, everyone. Good luck out there.
Yeah. All right, we are on. Wow, we've come to the end. Number 20, question 20. Okay, December. We are in December. And this happened just last week. So, Merriam-Webster, the dictionary maker, has chosen its word of the year.
Yeah.
This word. Oh, you look happy about this.
I know this. Okay, I know this one.
Let's hope it's the same one that you're thinking of. Here we go.
Yeah.
The description of the word is the act of trying to make someone think that they are crazy or misleading someone for your own advantage. I'm just going to repeat that because it's pretty tough. So the dictionary definition is the act of trying to make someone think that they are crazy or misleading someone for your own advantage. So what is that word which was chosen by dictionary Merriam-Webster as the word of the year?
Word of the year, Merriam-Webster dictionary. So this, listeners, podcast people, long-term listeners, come on, you know this. We've been through this. We dealt with this word a number of years ago on Luke's English podcast with Amber. The two of us had a conversation about all sorts of interesting words, including this one. This was a word of the year, I think, for the Collins Dictionary. It was in their list a few years ago.
Oh wow!
So listeners, come on, you know this one. It's when someone manipulates you by making you think that you're crazy. Okay, so the answer is gaslighting.
That's absolutely right. Well done, Luke. And you're showing up that apparently Collins is way ahead of Merriam-Webster in their word of the year choices.
Yeah. Words of the year. I used to do a podcast episode every year with the word of the year. When I say every year, I did it 2 years in a row.
That's every year.
I think
2 years.
Yeah. Does it count as every year?
So. Every year for 2 whole years. Yeah.
For that second year, I could have said, yeah. Anyway, so I don't always get time to do it, but I didn't note. I didn't realize that Merriam-Webster had chose gaslighting. I know that wordreference.com chose woman as their word of the year. Wow. And collinsdictionary.com this year chose permacrisis.
Wow.
As their word of the year. So I like the Collins one. I like the process that they use to choose their words, and the word choice is often very illustrative of what kind of year we've had. So permacrisis is the Collins one. And that basically, for Collins, they choose words which have been used a lot, like new words which have been used a lot and which then get added to the dictionary going forwards. right? So these are essentially new words to be added to the dictionary. And permacrisis is theirs, which basically means a state of permanent crisis, which is what we've kind of lived through this year with the climate crisis, the cost of living crisis in the UK, the crisis in Ukraine, the crisis here, the crisis there, the crisis in my kitchen when I realised I didn't have any milk because I just made myself a cup of tea, and then I opened the fridge and no milk. 2022 strikes again.
Permacrisis.
So that was anyway. Permacrisis is their word of the year. I should do a whole episode about the 2022 words of the year, because there are a few other pretty interesting ones in there, including the word sports washing, which is where sports are used in order to whitewash or distract away from other more serious causes.
Yeah.
No need to go back down into that particular conversational tangent
again?
now.
Today I feel
disabled. How exactly do you feel disabled? Do you want to go into more details about how you feel disabled?
He was trying to do sports washing there and failed miserably.
Yeah, but I mean, arguably the World Cup was a successful bit of sports washing. Arguably.
Well, yeah.
Don't you think?
Arguably.
They got away with it. Right?
Yeah, they got away with it, but I think that the average global perception of Qatar, has it improved from having the World Cup there? I don't think so. In the UK, it's probably worse. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but I'd say in the UK, I would expect that people have a worse view of Qatar now than they did before the World Cup, which is exactly the opposite of what they wanted.
But then again, now when people refer back to like what they call the best World Cup final in history, and it happened in Qatar, then that there's no way of taking that away from them now. That's that true. They will always be associated with this narrative. And the World Cup is a narrative, isn't it, of the story of the World Cup, and all these moments in football history and stuff. And now Qatar is just one of those other countries, along with all the other nations that have hosted it. And so it's a perfect example of sports washing. That essentially what they've done is because we love football so much and it's the beautiful game, they are using our love of this game as a way of essentially just covering up covering up the ugly aspects of what's going on by just going, so there's sort of slavery and a lot of people get killed while they're working and there's no human rights at all and blah blah blah. But anyway, look, Messi scored a goal, yay! That
is sports washing, isn't it? That's the perfect description of it, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But well, I don't know. In my opinion, for Qatar, it hasn't really worked. But maybe in other parts of the world, it's not like that. Maybe people have had a good impression of Qatar. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know really.
Yeah. Anyway, well done. You got gaslighting as well. That is, I think, if I've just calculated this correctly, because I keep on forgetting to write it down, I think you got 14.5 or possibly 15.5. I'm getting confused now. Should we say that you got 15? Let's say that you got 15. And then people can compare themselves to you. What did you think you got?
I don't know.
I
don't know. I've just been trying to get the answers right. But I don't know. Let's say I got 15, but I feel like I'm again maybe my own sort of like my white privilege means that I just get given extra points there. Like, so you got 13 questions right, but because you're Luke from Luke's English Podcast, we're going to give you a couple of extra points. So 75. Let's say I got about 75%, which is respectable.
Yeah,
I would say. Am I allowed to say that I'm respectable?
I think. I respect that pronouncement. Yeah, I think so. And hey, if you got better than Luke, then you can. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, then you can write down your score down there. And if you're listening on the podcast, then you can inundate Luke's email inbox with "haha, I got better than you" or something like that.
Or the website page, episode page. By the way, if you're ever wondering, listeners, where the episode page is for these episodes on my website. It's always in the show notes, always in the episode description. You'll find a link to the page on my website for this episode, where you will also find the comments section. So you can leave your comments there too if you're not on YouTube, which most people aren't. Most of my listeners listen to the podcast in the usual way. So head over to my website and leave your comments there if you like. Yes. Okay, so is that it? Did we finish?
Yeah, you asked me before, how long did I think that this would take? I was like, I don't know, maybe like 40 minutes? More than an hour and a half.
How naive we are.
Yeah, totally.
To imagine this would take 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But still, it's been good fun. It's been a roller coaster ride of controversy, moments of humour, maybe slightly misplaced humour in the face of very serious global events, and trivia. It's been a heady mix of those things. Stephen, thank you very much for preparing the quiz for us. I really hope my listeners have enjoyed this and found it sort of interesting in some way.
Yeah, absolutely, Luke. And if anybody is thinking, I only got like 5 out of 20, then in 2023, listen to Simple English News Daily every day, because actually people who do listen to my podcast should have got, I would expect all of you should have definitely got at least 18, because all of these questions have been in there at some point this year. So listen to Simple English News Daily and you'll get 20 out of 20 in the in next year's quiz.
All right. I hope we didn't step on anyone's toes too much. I hope people don't feel all angry. I love Mussolini. What are you talking about? Never mind those people's human rights. Just give me my iPhone. I don't know. But anyway, Merry Christmas,
people
everyone.
is nothing to work in a factory.
yeah, exactly.
In India, we've got 300,000 in our factory, Adam.
Oh, gosh. In any case, Stephen, thank you so much for, as I said, preparing the quiz. I actually really enjoyed this.
Yeah, me too.
I'm happy that I got a respectable score. I think it's a respectable score. And sorry to anyone who feels desperately offended that I, for example, didn't get a question about your country right. Sorry about that. Merry Christmas, everyone. Season's greetings. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for listening, watching, and the rest of it. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you very much, Luke. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Indeed. Okay. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everybody, you stay here, Stephen. I'm going to keep talking to you in a moment. I'm going to keep talking to you. Sounded like you're in trouble then, didn't it? I'm going to keep talking to you.
How come I only got 15? Oi.
Yeah, now listen here, you. You should make those questions more... I don't know, whatever. Okay, I can never end these conversations, so I will just end by going, that's it, that's the end, cheers, nice one, speak to you next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, I'm stopping now. Stop!